I wonder. There lived a man with 3 sons, Peter, Paul, and the youngest, Youngling. The cottage held only the boys, with not a penny left beneath the roof. On many evenings, he gathered them near the hearth and repeated that they must soon leave if they wished to eat at all. Home could offer nothing but hunger now. Just outside the king's palace windows, a great oak stood, tall, unyielding, its branches knit so dense that daylight struggled in. The tree's shape eclipsed every sunbeam, letting no warmth collect. What belonged to comfort remained pressed into shaded corners. The king spoke of reward, untold treasure for whoever could fell the oak. Hopeful blows hardly marked the wood. A single chip fell, and 2 thickened where it had been. No one bested the tree. Every effort only deepened the task, each attempt leaving the obstacle larger than before. A well was the king's other want, a spring to last the year, as others in neighboring courts enjoyed. There, wells brimmed in every season, but here, each digging struck hard rock after hardly a foot. The king's offer of money and goods stood, edged with the admission that failure had become routine. No one managed to grant his wish. Hope did not vanish. Instead, the king's message left the palace. Whoever could cut down the oak and dig a well to hold water through all seasons would win both the princess and half the kingdom. Many men had stood here before, hoping fortune might favor them. Yet each axe struck unyielding earth, each shovel turned back by stone. The oak, if wounded, stretched skyward. Battered rock refused to give way. In the kitchen's composed hush, 3 brothers weighed their choices. They'd leave together, uncertain what hard work or hope might uncover. Their father, hands steady on his bowl, accepted their plan with a nod, reason enough to attempt what others had not claimed. If they found honest labor or a corner to claim as their own, that would suffice. When the brothers spoke of setting out for the palace, their father answered only, yes. So Peter, Paul, and Youngling bundled their belongings and stepped out, home falling behind as the pale morning road carried them on. They had not wandered far when the path drew them beside a fir wood. On one edge, the hillside lifted sharply, needles forming a dusk-soft seam beneath their boots. The brothers moved on, but a tapping drifted down, measured cuts distinct above the hush, as if the forest itself listened for a pattern. Youngling paused. "I do wonder what's chopping away up there," he said, gaze following the sound's shape along the air. Doubt lingered. Expectation caught quietly in his question. Peter and Paul chimed together. "You and your wonderings. Isn't it plain enough? A woodcutter up on the hill?" Their voices brushed off his question, the certainty almost too quick. But Youngling shook the question loose. "I'd still like to see what it is," he said. Up the bank he moved, shoes brushing through needles, brother's calls slipping behind. "Off you go then. Learn something, little one." Voices sharp against the hush. He did not look back. He paid them no mind, feet finding steadiness with each silent step. Youngling climbed toward the sound, air chilled and expectant at the crest. There, at a fir's base, something watched, an axe, upright, swinging again and again, its edge rising and falling. No hand, only the measured rhythm. Youngling greeted softly, "Good day. Are you here by yourself, chopping?" He kept still, as if any movement might unsettle the pattern before him. "Yes, a long spell I've chopped and cut, waiting just for you, my lad," replied the axe, voice dry and flat as the ringing steel. Youngling nodded, surprise stone still on his face. "Well, here I am at last." He reached out, drew the axe from its handle, and tucked both head and shaft into his wallet, the motion quiet, a shade cautious. He made his way down to his brothers, needles parting under measured steps. Laughter met him, sharp and weightless, their jeers quick. "So, what marvelous sight did you find up there?" Youngling only answered, "It was just an axe we heard." His words landed evenly, no protest, just the shape of fact left between them. They wandered on, steps careful over moss and root, until the shadow of a steep rock pressed close overhead. Above them came the measured scrape and shuffle of something working unseen, a sound with a purpose, slow and deliberate in the hush. Youngling paused, craning his neck. "I wonder what could be shoveling up there near the top." His words came with a thoughtful tilt, attention fixed on that curious noise. Peter and Paul exchanged a glance and shook their heads. "There you go again with your questions," Peter said, patient, the faintest smile passing between them. "It's nothing new. A woodpecker finding an old hollow." Youngling answered, undeterred. "Still, I'd like to see for myself what's making the noise." Without waiting, he started toward the stone, boots slipping at the incline, hands tightening on cracks and tufts for balance. Their laughter faded behind him, teasing uncertain now as he climbed. He let the jokes fall away, focus drawing forward. Pulling himself over the edge, Youngling caught sight of a spade. Its blade sunk and working into the dark soil, rising and dipping on its own. "Good day," he said softly, breath even now. "Is it just you up here, digging without company?" The spade answered, voice steady and plain. "That's my work. I've done it for ages, waiting just for you." "Well, here I am," said Youngling. He reached for the spade, tapped the handle loose, and slipped it quietly into his pocket. Then he eased himself back down the sun-warmed rock to find his brothers. Peter and Paul glanced up, a question in their eyes. "What did you find? Was there something strange up at the top?" Youngling only shrugged, the handle hidden in his wallet. "Just a spade." The sound was nothing more than that. They walked together for some time, wearing out the friendly path until a brook crossed before them. Thirsty from their way, they lay down among the grass, arms and chins pressed into the cool green as they drank, the world quiet for a short span. Youngling, gaze fixed where the brook vanished among alder and stone, said, "I'd like to see where this brook comes from." He did not wait, stepping along its restless edge, watching how light darted over wet moss and root, the others a hush behind him. His brothers' voices tangled behind, their calls half swallowed in the leafy hush, but Youngling moved on, undisturbed. The brook shrank, the path narrowing, leading him higher with each turn. At last it was a silvery thread, and ahead, at the base of a rise, he saw a large walnut, water spilling from a flaw in its rough shell. He crouched near the walnut and said gently, "Good day. Is it you sending water down alone from this place?" "Yes, I do," replied the walnut, "and I've lain here many days, trickling, waiting for you, my lad." "Well, here I am," Youngling said. He took a lump of moss, pressed it into the walnut's opening, letting the water cease. He tucked the walnut into his wallet and turned for home, the weight of it steady in his pocket. Peter and Paul called, "Well, did you find where the water comes from? Must have been a sight, that." Youngling only shrugged. "It was just a hole it ran out of," he said. They laughed, teasing, but Youngling gave no answer back, content with what was now his to keep. When they had walked a little farther along the shaded path, the palace gates appeared, tall and gleaming against a bright, empty sky. Word traveled quickly. Whoever could fell the great oak and dig the king's well would win the princess and half the kingdom. Hopeful men lined the grounds, one after another, but every swing of an axe brought resistance. Each chip carved away returned twofold, the oak's trunk swelling, thicker than it had been for the first challenger. The king, weary from countless failures, set a rule with no gentle edge. Any would-be hero who failed would be sent out alone to a barren island, both ears taken. Still, Peter and Paul, the elder brothers, heard the warning but gave it little weight. Certainty lay with them as steady as the morning's first light. Peter, oldest, stepped forward first. His axe struck deep, but the wood yielded nothing. With each chip fallen, the oak renewed itself, stubborn in its thickening bark. He swung until strength ran out and the tree endured, unchanged. The king's men seized Peter by the arms, slicing both ears clean and casting him onto the island, alone among cold and broken stones. When Paul's turn came, nothing shifted. After 2 or 3 strikes, the watchers saw the tree thicken, growing stronger with every blow. The king's men closed in, sheared his ears close. "Take a lesson from your brother," and sent him silent to join Peter where the land offered nothing. Now it was Youngling's turn to step forward. The king looked sharply at Youngling from his chair, voice clipped and dry. "If you'd like to look a marked sheep, we're happy to trim your ears right now and save you the work," he said. Old annoyance laced the air, his gaze fixed, recalling the older boy's failures. Youngling met the king's eye without a stir. "I'd just like to try first," he said, voice flat and certain. That was answer enough. Leave was granted. The next unbroken moment, he drew his axe from his wallet and pressed it to the handle with steady precision. He nodded to the tool. "Chop away." The axe moved, chips scattering, strikes clear and orderly, until, in a resolute moment, the old oak crashed down. Task unfinished, Youngling reached in his wallet again, drew out his spade, and joined its halves with an efficient grip. "Dig away," Youngling instructed. The spade drove into the ground, breaking stone and earth in brisk sequence. Shards flew, the hole deepened, a rhythm sharp and pressing. Before long, the well yawned wide. Youngling lifted his walnut, set it in a corner, and with deliberate care loosened the moss plug. "Trickle and run," he said. Water streamed out, catching the well's edge with silent persistence, the walnut's secrets spilling bright into the depth. So the oak fell, and a new well brimmed in the palace yard. Youngling received the princess and half the kingdom as promised. For Peter, Paul, and each watcher on the lawn, it settled something. Soon enough, the saying circled. Youngling had not been out of his mind, not when he chose to wonder.